O wound of mercy, heart of Jesus, hide me in your depths as a drop of your own blood, and do not let me out forever. Log me in your depths, and do you yourself teach me to love you. Eternal love, do you yourself from my soul, that it be made capable of returning your love. O living love, enable me to love you forever. I yearn to eternally reciprocate your love. O Christ, a single gaze from you is dearer to me than 1,000 worlds, than all heaven itself. Lord, you can make my soul capable of understanding completely who you are. I know and I believe that you can do all things. If you have deigned to give yourself to me so generously, then I know that you can be even more generous. Bring me into an intimacy with you so far as it is possible for human nature to be brought. J.M.J. The desires of my heart are so great and incomprehensible that nothing can fill the abyss of my heart. Even the most beautiful things scattered from all over the world would not for a moment fill your place for me, O God. With one glance I penetrated the whole world, and I found no other love like the love of my heart. Therefore I looked into the world of eternity, because this one is too small for me. My heart has desired the love of the Immortal One. My heart has sensed that I am a royal child, that I have found myself in exile in a foreign land. I see that the heavenly palace is my home. Only there will I feel as in my own fatherland. You yourself have drawn my soul to you, O Lord. O eternal Word, you yourself have stooped to me, giving my soul a deeper knowledge of yourself. Behold the mystery of love for which you have created me. Pure love has made me strong and brave. I fear neither the seraphim nor the cherubim, standing with sword in hand, and I pass over with ease where others tremble, because there is nothing to fear, there where love is the guide. And suddenly the eye of my soul came to rest upon you, O Lord Jesus Christ, stretched upon the cross. Here is my love, with whom I will rest in my grave. This is my bridegroom, my incomprehensible Lord and God. March 10th, 1938. Continuous physical suffering. I am on the cross with Jesus. On one occasion, M. Superior Irene said to me, "It is a lack of love of neighbor on your part, sister, that you eat something and then you suffer and disturb the others during their night's rest. Yet I know for sure that these pains which occur in my intestines are not all caused by food." The doctor, probably Dr. Silberg, has said the same thing. These sufferings come from the body itself, or rather are a visitation of the Lord. Nevertheless, after that remark, I resolved to suffer in secret, and not to ask for help, because it is of no avail anyway, since I throw up the medicines that are given to me. Many a time I have managed to suffer through attacks that were known only to Jesus. The pains are so violent and severe that they cause me to lose consciousness. When they cause me to faint and I am drenched in cold sweats, then they gradually begin to go away. Sometimes they last 3 hours or more. O my Jesus, may your holy will be done. I accept everything from your hand. If I accept the delights and raptures of love to the point of becoming oblivious to what is going on around me, it is only right that I should accept with love these sufferings which cause me to faint. When the doctor came, I could not go down to the parlor to see him, like the other sisters, but asked that he come to my cell, because I could not go down due to a certain difficulty. After a while he came to the cell, and, having examined me, said, "I'll tell everything to the sister infirmarian." When the sister infirmarian came, after the doctor had left, I told her why I hadn't been able to go down to the parlor, but she gave me to know how very displeased she was. And when I asked, "Sister, what did the doctor say about these pains?" she answered that he had said nothing, that it was nothing, that he had said the patient was just sulking, and with that she went off. Then I said to God, "Christ, give me strength and power to suffer. Give to my heart a pure love for this sister." After that, she did not look in on me again for a whole week, but the sufferings returned with great violence and lasted almost a whole night, and it seemed that it would be the end, then and there. the superiors decided to approach another doctor, and he ascertained that my condition was serious and said to me, "It will not be possible to return you to good health. We can remedy your condition partially, but complete recovery is out of question." He prescribed a medicine for the pains, and after I had taken it, the major attacks did not return. "But if you come here, sister, we will try to patch up your health somehow, if that is still possible." The doctor very much wanted me to go there for a treatment. Oh my Jesus, how strange are your decrees. Jesus orders me to write all this for the consolation of other souls who will often be exposed to similar sufferings. Although I was feeling very weak, I went to see the Dr. Silberg because that was the superior's will. The sister who was my companion was very unhappy about this. She made this known to me several times and finally said, "What are we going to do? I don't have enough money to pay for the cab." I answered nothing. "And what if there is no cab? How are we going to get there? It's such a long way." She said this and many other things just to worry me, because our dear superiors had given us enough money for everything, and we didn't run short. And understanding this whole business within myself, I laughed and told sister that I was not worried one bit. That's trust in God. But I saw that my deep peace was getting on her nerves, and so I started to pray for her intention. "Oh my Lord, all this is for you, and to obtain mercy for poor sinners." When I returned, I was so very tired that I had to lie down right away, but it was the day for the quarterly confession. I tried to go to confession, not only because I had need to do so, but also to ask advice of my spiritual director, Father Andres. I began to prepare myself. However, I felt so weak that I decided to go ask Mother Superior Irene to allow me to go before the novices. Mother Superior answered, "Go and look for the directress of novices, Sister Callista. If she allows you to go before the novices, it is all right with me." However, there were only 3 sisters ahead of me, waiting for confession, and so I waited because I did not have enough strength to go and look for the directress of novices. When I went in to make my confession, I was feeling so bad that I could not give an account of the condition of my soul. I barely managed to make my confession. At that point, I noted how much the Spirit is needed. The letter itself does not make love grow. 2 Corinthians 3:6. On that day there arose some misunderstandings between the superior and myself. Neither she nor I was to blame, but moral suffering remained, because I could not explain the matter in question, since it was a secret. This was the reason why I suffered, even though by a single word I could have revealed the truth. 20th of March. Today in spirit I accompanied a certain dying soul. I obtained trust in God's mercy for her. The soul was near despair. The night is known only to you, O Lord. I have offered it for poor obdurate sinners, to obtain your mercy for them. Scourge me here, burn me here, as long as you give me the souls of sinners, and especially, O Jesus, with you nothing is lost. Take everything and give me souls. Sinners. At adoration during the 40 hours devotion, the Lord said to me, "My daughter, write that involuntary offenses of souls do not hinder my love for them or prevent me from uniting myself with them, but voluntary offenses, even the smallest, obstruct my graces, and I cannot lavish my gifts on such souls." Jesus gave me to know of how everything is dependent on His will, thus giving me profound peace as regards the security of His work. Listen, my daughter, although all the works that come into being by my will are exposed to great sufferings, consider whether any of them has been subject to greater difficulties than that work which is directly mine, the work of redemption. You should not worry too much about adversities. The world is not as powerful as it seems to be. Its strength is strictly limited. Know, my daughter, that if your soul is filled with the fire of my pure love, then all difficulties dissipate like fog before the sun's rays, and dare not touch the soul. All adversities are afraid to start a quarrel with such a soul because they sense that it is stronger than the whole world. My daughter, do as much for this work of mercy as obedience allows. Present clearly to your confessor the very least of my demands, and he will decide. You must not shirk in any way. Carry out everything faithfully, otherwise I would find no pleasure in you. March 25th, 1938. Today I saw the suffering Lord Jesus. He leaned down toward me and whispered softly, "My daughter, help me to save sinners." Suddenly a burning desire to save souls entered my soul. When I recovered my senses, I knew just how I was to help souls, and I propelled. March 25th, 1938. Today I saw the suffering Lord Jesus. He leaned down toward me and whispered softly, "My daughter, help me to save sinners." Suddenly a burning desire to save souls entered my soul. When I recovered my senses, I knew just how I was to help souls, and I prepared myself for greater sufferings. Today, probably Friday, March 25th, 1938, my suffering increased. In addition, I felt wounds in my hands, feet, and side. I endured this with patience. I sensed the hostility of the enemy of souls, but he did not touch me. April 1st, 1938. Once again, I am feeling worse today. A high fever is beginning to consume me, and I cannot take any food. I would like to have something refreshing to drink, but there is not even any water in my pitcher. All this, O Jesus, to obtain mercy for souls. Just as I was renewing my intention with greater love, one of the novices came in and gave me a big orange, which had been sent by the directress of novices, Sister Callista. I saw the Lord's hand in this. Same thing happened again several times. During this time, although my needs were known, I never received anything refreshing to eat, even though I had asked for it. However, I knew that God was demanding suffering and sacrifices. I am not writing in detail about these refusals because these are delicate matters and it is difficult to believe. Yet God can demand even such sacrifices. I was about to ask Mother Superior Irene to allow me to have something in my cell with which to quench my great thirst, but before I managed to ask, Mother herself began to speak. "Sister, let's make an end of this illness once and for all, one way or another. You will have to undergo regular treatment or something. Things can't go on like this any longer." A little later, when I was alone, I said, "Christ, what am I to do? Am I to ask you for health or for death?" I had no clear command, so I knelt down and said, "May your holy will be done in my regard. Do with me, Jesus, as you please." At that very moment, I felt as though I were all alone, and various temptations attacked me, but I found peace and light in earnest prayer, and I understood that the Superior only wished to test me. I don't know how this happens, but the room in which I have been lying has been very much neglected. Sometimes it has not been cleaned for more than 2 weeks. Often no one would light a fire in the stove, and so my cough would get worse. Sometimes I would ask to have a fire lit, and at other times I did not have the courage to ask. On one occasion, when Mother Superior Irene came to see me and asked me if perhaps it was necessary to heat the room more, I said no, because it was already getting warmer outside and we had the window open. First Friday, when I took the messenger of the Sacred Heart into my hand and read the account of the canonization of St. Andrew Bobola, my soul was instantly filled with a great longing that our congregation too might have a saint, and I wept like a child that there was no saint in our midst. And I said to the Lord, "I know your generosity, and yet it seems to me that you are less generous towards us." And I began again to weep like a little child. And the Lord Jesus said to me, "Don't cry, you are that saint." Then the light of God inundated my soul, and I was given to know how much I was to suffer. And I said to the Lord, "How will that come about? You have been speaking to me about another congregation." And the Lord answered, "It is not for you to know how this will come about. Your duty is to be faithful to my grace and to do always what is within your power, what obedience allows you to do.